Well, hello there, mein Pfeifenfreunds. Alles klar? Sehr gut. Well, I'm back again, and I know that I just put up a video yesterday talking about all sorts of interesting things. First of which, smoking my Jobe Umpal here. I've had this pipe, this goes all the way back to 1982, 83? Yeah, 1982, I think, yeah. And in it, I'm smoking some W.O. Larson, which I really love. It just seemed like it was a wonderful time to smoke W.O. Larson. Now, right now, I'm looking out the old window here. Kind of changed my setup a little bit. Normally I'm over here against the bookcase, and here I decided to just do it this way. This is my back of my desk, or front of my desk actually. But right outside the window here, you see the window? There you go. You can see the window there. We've been having some thunderstorms. Yes, I love thunderstorms. Spring thunderstorms. And I don't know. For some reason, I thought W.O. Larson would go really good with thunderstorms. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. Okay, well, let me kind of get this going here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Back there, you see my older Macs there. What about you guys? What's your take on the Apple Watch? I might have mentioned this before. I'm not sure that I'm going to get an Apple Watch. I probably will, to be honest. I probably will. But I just don't see a need for one until they probably put some app there that hooks up to your iPhone and marries up to your watch on your wrist and makes it like Dick Tracy or something like that, where it gives you some fantastic new gadget that does something for you that you haven't done before in your life. I don't know. Anyway, who knows? So So I just wanted to make some responses to last night's video. Not that I had a lot of comments, but a couple of people made some interesting comments. And one guy actually had a couple of questions too. I was smoking last night this wonderful GBD, and I think it was Lars who made some very, very interesting comments about GBD. And although it was taken over by a German company, he said actually originally it was an English company, and then actually I think he said it's actually manufactured in France. And he said that he has one of these too, but unlike yours truly, he's going to wait before he opens his, because these are probably the last ones you're ever going to get. And I think he had mentioned that on an earlier post to me as well, but he made the point again on another post yesterday. So I'm a little bit, on one hand, is there a little bit of buyer's regret here, like, oh gosh, I wish I wouldn't have done that. But you know what? I enjoyed it last night. And I'll ask Lars this, video to video here, or, at least YouTube to YouTube. After I smoked this, and it was enjoyable, it really was enjoyable, as I called it an aromatic English. But I gotta tell you, and this is where it came as a big surprise, I probably smoked it for the duration of the video, which was like 40 minutes. And then after I was done with the video, I think I puffed on it for a little bit and doing some post-production stuff. But later that night, about an hour later, it kind of hit me. I noticed I was kind of, a little reeling, like, whoa, what's going on here? It felt kind of almost a little bit inebriated. It was kind of like, it kind of hit me really hard. I'm just kind of wondering what was going on with that. So does GBD have kind of an after effect after you smoke it? Because it was really pretty intense. I didn't say I got sick, but I certainly felt some kind of a lightheadedness. But I already started going to bed, so like, well, I'll just, I'm gonna go to, just, it kind of helped me sleep a little bit, I guess. Anyway, so I'm here just to answer some questions, basically, and wait for another, band of the thunderstorm to come over. I just loved it. I was sitting out having a little chit chat with a friend and a parishioner, and I said, "Boy, it's starting to get really cloudy." And I said, and all of a sudden, I noticed there was rain on the windows and there was lightning, and it was great. Just love spring thunderstorms. Almost summer now. Anyway, so and Lars had asked about juicing, and maybe I'll drop in a picture of a juicer here. And there's a film you might want to go watch called it's by Joe Cross, and Sick, Fat, and Nearly Dead is the name of the video. Sick, Fat, and Nearly Dead. And he talks about how he juiced for 60 days, drinking nothing basically but green juice, kale juices, and basically what you do is you get this machine called a Brevilla or Breville juicer. And I also have videos on this. You can go look at some of my videos in the past. They go back a couple years. And you can find me making a juice or so. I think I make a mean green juice. I think it's the title, Making a Juice for Jay or something like that, because Jay was doing some juicing. And so if you watch Jay's videos, Jay has kind of a different juicer than I have. But again, it's all the same thing. Now, some juices are juicer extractors. Mine is a juicer extractor. Basically what it does is it separates the juice from the pulp. So you don't get a lot of pulp. You get mostly the juice, which is good. Some people like that. I think the pulp is kind of good in some ways, that you get a little more fiber. But juicing, I think, is a good thing. Now, some people lately have kind of debunked it, or said, "Oh, it's not necessary. It's a waste of time." And the only thing I'll say is I think that you get a huge advantage by drinking the juices, because you get all those micronutrients. So, can you go wrong by juicing? No. Some people say you don't need to juice, but I think it's a nice way. It could be even used as a meal replacement. And the good thing about the juice that you make, it's all fresh. There's no additive preservatives. There's no added sugar. Most of the juice, if not all the juice that you buy in the stores, has added sugar, and that is the I don't want to say the enemy, but it's not good for you to add sugar. We add sugar to everything. And so that's what I want to do. I wanted to answer Lars's question about that. And I wanted to thank him also for his very insightful comments about omnivores, herbivores, and vegans. Let's see. Nicholas said, scientifically, it's pretty much a fact that we are omnivores, and I have to agree with that. You can be a vegan for ethical reasons, if that floats your boat. But our friend who is a big proponent of veganism is probably one of the rising, or one of the the clearly leaders of the pack of that movement on YouTube. You know, and again, I still like her videos. I certainly don't believe or subscribe to some of her radical views. But I you know, I think they're just a little bit too dogmatic in what they believe. They have a right to certainly, you know, preach what they believe. But again, I don't agree with it. I clearly don't subscribe to their philosophy. So, but you can still learn some good things about health and nutrition. It just may not be in keeping with their strict standards that they would welcome you. I guess they've even banned people that disagree with them. And again, I don't have problems with people disagreeing. That makes life kind of interesting as far as I'm concerned. But it's when people become hateful and vulgar, that's where I draw the line. So, okay. And the other reason why I'm making this video is, well, one of the reasons I'm making the video because I just wanted to. I mean, I don't know about you, but I just love rain. I love beautiful weather, you know, especially kind of that changing kind of mystical, volatile, you know, thunderstorm kind of weather, you know. You just never know what you're going to get, you know, and then it's surprises and delights in many ways. I think it's perfect pipe smoking weather. I really do. If we got a thunderstorm later tonight, I'd sit out on my deck and just smoke my pipe. I got a deck out in front right here, and then I have the patio in the back. Got to hose down the chicken poo-poo. You know, the poor chickens, they've been pooping up a storm lately, and I noticed that the other day. I haven't been hosing it down because we're trying to be very careful with our water restrictions here, and so I think I hosed it down about 3 weeks ago. And you know, anytime you start doing something, your neighbors might peek over the fence and, oh, you're wasting water. You know, it's like, no, not really. And besides, it runs off and waters the plants, so it's not like I'm, you know, totally wasting it. But anyway, somebody might disagree with me on that one too. And if I was doing it every single day or twice a day, which I probably could do because the chickens poop a lot. But like I said, I haven't done it in 3 weeks, and it takes me like 5 minutes to hose it down, and it's done. And then it takes a couple of days for them to poop it up again. But that's the joy of having chickens. So anyway, I had another person ask me a question. He's a new subscriber and listener from our viewer from Switzerland. I'm not going to mention your name. I think you meant this to be more of a kind of a personal thing, and so. But I can address the question, and without giving keeping your anonymity. He asked me about what is it, what are the. He's thinking about becoming a priest, or he's thinking about talking to a Catholic bishop about going to seminary, and I've had a couple of people in the last few years who've asked me, about going to seminary and life as a priest, and I'm hoping I wasn't such a bad role model, because in the beginning they were really talking to me a lot and excited about going to the seminary, and then whether they went to the seminary or not, I don't know what happened, but they kind of stopped talking to me, and I'm thinking maybe they their seminary officials said, hey, that guy's not a very good priest, he smokes a pipe, and I smoke a pipe, oh no. So anyway, that might be kind of considered a bad thing. So maybe they kind of got to the seminary and they found out that it's not a good thing for priests to smoke pipe. So anyway, I never was told anything about not smoking a pipe, and again, there was never anything said about my pipe smoking, and I didn't smoke in the classroom or all the time, but people knew that I was a pipe smoker from time to time. In fact, this little pipe was with me in the seminary. I can say that. Yes, it was. And, many of my little seminary friends and I, we'd get together, and back in the days when I would hoist a few adult libations, we'd had, lots of beer and pipes, and had a good time. But, you know, I can see where some people might, again, maybe not look too positively on pipe smoking. Okay, so, but the guy wanted to know, you know, what he could say to his bishop, I guess. He's going to meet a bishop, and so if you're watching and if I can help with what my little comments. There's also a video that I put up about 2 or 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe, called I Was a YouTube Horror Host. And believe it or not, I talk about my vocation because it was on my anniversary, and my anniversary, interestingly enough, is this weekend again. What, 3 or 4 years later? And anyway, you have to watch the video to understand the title, but I try to make sense of why I call it. I was a YouTube horror host. YouTube horror host. Now I was kind of just trying to look at what it means to be a priest in the world today, because it's obviously an avocation, a vocation, a profession that, I hate to use the word profession, but it's a vocation that beyond my control has really fallen into a real public negativity. You know, it's almost like all priests are these evil bad people, because some priests have been evil bad people, and so it basically broad brushes everybody. You know. You know, it's the 98% that give us 2% a bad name, you know. But anyway, I like being a padre. And what I would just say is, you know, when you talk to the bishop, your vocation director, you got to be 110% honest with them. Be honest with you, be straight up about that. If you try to you know, kind of answer what you think they're looking for, you're probably playing a game with them. And even if they don't figure it out right away, it's just not gonna be something for you. You gotta be pretty realistic. I'm not saying you can't be idealistic. You can be. I think we need more idealistic priests out there, priests that want to try to uphold, you know, the traditional good things about the Catholic faith, and try to, you know, honestly present those, even though the secular world has kind of abandoned turned its back on traditional morality. The Catholic Church, the Orthodox Church, you know, the Eastern Catholic Church, we all still subscribe and uphold a traditional view of morality. Again, it's not popular. Again, now when I say that, I will say it's not about condemning people that are outside that moral structure. We're not there to condemn people, but we are there to tell them what we believe, you know. And you got to be honest about that, you know. And you don't have to be harsh. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to be hateful. You know. And we're not called to be hateful people. We're called to be honest people. They both start with the letter H, by the way. So, but sometimes people do get overzealous and a little, maybe, I don't want to say maybe dogmatic, but they do kind of get into a vein where they feel that they need to be harsh, another H word, with people. And I don't think you need to be that way. I think you can be honest, you can be forthright, you can be realistic, you know, and just say, well, this is what the church teaches, you know. And again, I don't make it up, but I do believe there are good reasons for what the church teaches. I'll just say it that way. But again, I'm not really here to force anything down anybody's throat, you know. But if, you know, it's like when I'm a convert, so when I became a Catholic, I had to ask some hard questions, and I'm glad that somebody was kind enough to tell me the truth, but in a way that I didn't feel like I was being crammed down my throat, but something I could look at objectively and say, okay. So my video that I made about 3 years ago called I Was a YouTube Horror Host is all about how I see priesthood today. And again, you might think, well, what the title has nothing to do with priesthood. Well, I don't understand it. Well, you have to go watch the video. And I've actually had a couple of people who are also ministers, and they were appreciative. They said, you know, you had some good insights there, and I thought that was had some value. So maybe the video had some value. So maybe go watch that, and if you want to ask me some more questions, you know, PM me, and I'll be glad to try to help you in any way I can. But the thing is that you have to be honest with yourself, with God, and with your bishop and the people that you're. If you want to go a religious order route, that's a whole other topic. But just be open, be honest, be prayerful. You know, really ask God, you know, where He wants you to go, what He wants you to do, what He wants you to be, and then just try to be the best you can. You know, and just you know, be open to what God's leading you to do, because you know, if you try to, you know, do the 20 questions thing and try to answer the question the way you think they want you to, you probably won't. It probably won't work for you. And then even if you were able to kind of like, you know, say the right thing, maybe in your heart you realize, well, I didn't really mean that. You know, I don't really believe that, or I'm not sure I believe that, or I don't know if I can really be that way. So you owe it to yourself to be honest and not be fearful, you know, because sometimes you think, well, if I tell them the truth, I might get in trouble. Well, in other words, if meeting in trouble, they won't accept you. Well, you know, believe it or not, maybe it isn't God's will for you. Maybe it is. I don't know. But you'll never know unless you ask and you talk and you know, basically it's a discernment process. You know, you don't just go up and sign up like a job. It's a discernment process. You'd have to go through a period of discernment with your bishop, your diocese, with a spiritual director, and kind of see where things go. And it's not an overnight thing. It doesn't, you know, you don't walk in and, you know, kind of get a job the next day and start showing up and being, you know, you got to go through the seminary. And, you know, it's not easy, but it can be very rewarding. Okay, so I hope that helps. My old friend Parola, just want to say hello to you, and thank you for your message. Also, I want to say hello to the one and only Silver Fox David, or yes, David, not David, but David. Dear David, I hope you're doing well in Deutschland. Alles klar mit du? David and I are also kindred spirits when it comes to our appreciation and our love of the Senseo coffee machine. Let's hear it for Senseo. Let's see what else. And Gary. Gary is a gentleman who, if you're lucky to meet his acquaintance, he likes to write letters, good old-fashioned letters and postcards. And Gary's into he's into another universe. Yes, he's a very interesting young man. I'll say young man because he's younger than I am. I can say that. But he loves the comic book world. No, universe. And Gary can tell you all sorts of fascinating things about graphic novels and comic books and rare collector comic books and comic book characters. It's amazing. It's absolutely. He should get. He has the equivalent of a PhD in I guess that genre. You know, that comic book fantasy genre. So there you have it. So hi Gary, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Boy, this is good. That's what I like about most of the tins of tobacco that I have, the tobaccos that I enjoy. they just usually hit the spot. I don't think I have a point where I go, boy, I wish I hadn't smoked that pipe or that tobacco. Usually every time I have a good chance to enjoy and relax, it's always something that I say, I enjoyed that. I really did. That was good. Now, I do need to do a little pipe maintenance thing, which most of us know, especially with bent pipes and the like. They do tend to be a little bit on the gurgly side. I'm going to take this off here. I am lamenting the fact that I'm not close to the briar patch like I once was. I miss the briar patch. I truly do. I'm trying to find a little well down there to kind of dry it up a bit. But for some reason it's not. Ah, there we go. That's right. This was a weird. The angle of this was. If Joe Case is watching, he probably knows exactly what the problem is with this pipe. It's an Paul. I'll bet you anything. Old Joe Case, Joe, if you're out there, old Tennessee Smoky Joe. Have you ever made an Paul? I bet you have. I haven't watched your channel in a while. I apologize for that. But what they did with this Paul is they just kind of, I don't know. Maybe that's the correct angle that you use to get the Paul. But I thought it would be a little bit more of a curved shape, but I don't know. I've never made a pipe from scratch, and I don't know. But anyway, so maybe Joe Case could enlighten us about the proper draft hole for an Paul. That would be interesting. Oh, by the way, I will say this about Joe Case. He had a video up several years ago, which was fascinating, on him, making pipes. And I think it was he was showing us how. And I forgot the name, forgive me, but how these two marry up to each other, and there's a special procedure and a special bevel when you put together certain pipes. And I think even old Sparky's Pipes was asking him that little secret technique to get it where they not just fit together, but the draft hole and everything works so it draws correctly. Because if you don't get that little marriage there right, it won't be a good pipe. It'd just be pretty substandard. So, but anyway, he had a little video showing him all of his tools and lathes and how he turns things and mortises things. Does that make sense? Am I right about that? Anyway, but it was very interesting. An interesting video. There's a lot of knowledge. I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert about pipes or pipe smoking. I'm just a guy who likes to smoke a pipe from time to time. And I like to make videos. And so anyway, that's this channel. It's just kind of a relaxing channel for me. I know a lot of people make money. I guess some people make money on YouTube. But you have to have thousands and thousands of viewers and subscribers and stuff. And there are some people out there that really have a huge following. And they make money, I guess. I don't know how, but they do. But I can honestly tell you that's not what I do it for. I just like to say hi to you all and kind of get some comments every now and then if I can be of help to somebody. If my experience either in the pipe smoking or the Padre business helps anybody, great. But again, it's kind of like the digital neighborhood, and it's nice being a member of the digital neighborhood. And with that, I'll just say I hope you're having a great digital evening. Those of you out there in YouTube land. And I'm waiting for the next thunderstorm to come rolling by. I sure hope we get a few more tonight. So until then, enjoy yourself and light up your pipe, light up your world. Talk to you soon.